industry is growing, but along with that comes some questions about revenue and being able to account for all the data that's involved in the industry. So with me is CEO Brad Moore. He is the head of global cannabis applications to explain what their product does and how it addresses some of these issues in the cannabis industry. So great to have you back, Brad.
Thanks for having me, Jane. Nice to see you again.
So, let's just start with kind of your technology and what it does for the cannabis industry, and then we'll get into some more details about what you've done for other companies lately.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thanks. Once again, we're always excited to have the opportunity to talk to, interested parties and shareholders, and mostly important growers, because this product is really about consumers, right, and better efficacy. So we've developed what we call, and it's patent pending, a seed-to-seed solution. And so we track everything from gram to the consumer all the way back again using 5 interlocking technologies, including blockchain, machine learning, and mobile technologies, and some other cool stuff.
Now, you recently had a deal with Agricasa. So explain what that deal is and what you're doing it for them.
Yeah, so that was exciting. They're actually a very big company. They're the largest CBD producer out of Europe, right? And so they produce CBD and they put in a whole range of products. And there's a line between CBD and medical cannabis because one has THC and one doesn't. And over there, it's a food stuff. And once again, that's the one that's easiest to move across the borders in Europe, as it is in the United States. Right? Not in Canada, you can move medical cannabis across provincial lines. But what's really interesting about that is when we talked to them, they said, we need to build consumer trust. We want consumers to understand. And that's what it boiled down to. So our QR codes are going on everything, tracking every step of the process of their development, all the way from biomass growing all the way to whether it's a lipstick or any other cosmetic problem. Our QR codes will be on there, and it's going to be for the consumers. Now, they do 120 million grams a year of CBD. I mean, they're massive, right? And because we're dealing with the liquid component, we're only actually doing a small beta of 2 million grams, but that's $400,000 of revenue for the company. It's quite exciting for us.
So now tell me again, like from a consumer's point of view, what all information can they get from your QR codes?
Everything. And, it's no different. The QR code, and I think it's important to say, it's like you don't need a special app to use it. You just need a smartphone. And you hold that product up and you put it on, and it shows you everything that was involved with making the product that got registered, tested to on the blockchain. And that's just a fancy way of saying, you know what, if this was the lab result, if this is what time the lights went on, the pH level, and who handled it, all the way through to from cultivation to consumption, all that gets registered. What's exciting, though, is if you like the product as consumer, we're going to work with you as a consumer to download the app, and then what you can do yourself is actually put your experience. And that's not being done anywhere. What we're doing that way, attaching a consumer experience to the growth of a product on a per gram basis, and then looking at it collectively with using machine learning it's huge, right? Especially when you start making medicinal claims.
Right. And so there's an Israeli company that you've been working with, Blessed is the name of it?
Yeah, Blessed Cultivation, yeah.
So how is that significant in kind of a use case scenario for your technology?
Well, I think it's a couple of things. So first of all, Blessed was actually our first revenue. And, we did that deal in the last quarter last year. And obviously because of what was going on with COVID and the lockdowns, Israel was very rigid about that stuff. We pushed that revenue. So we'll happily tell everybody, even though it's a small amount, we're announcing that into that's going to be showing up in our first quarter for Q1 2021. And so that's a big deal, as you know, right? Because now we're not just an idea or a concept or an MVP, minimum viable product. We're a revenue producing company. And I think that's critical to say to everybody. What we're doing for Bless, specifically for them, they're a medical cannabis company. So they're actually using those attestations on the blockchain of their growing as a compliance tool for their regulators. So they can say, hey, instead of me filing through and showing you what time the lights went on by this guy, we can show it to you in real time.
Yeah. So this is really, even though it's not a huge moneymaker, it's a proof of concept.
It totally is. And then when you look at CBD Agricasa, now we're well into the revenue stream, right? I mean, we have a very aggressive goal of 32 million grams. That 2 million grams, well, it's 2.5 including Bless. It's a good start to the year, right? And I think, you know, in the context of the COVID world, it's, you know, we're going up in the right direction. And so we're really excited about the opportunities that are in front of us.
Mm-hmm. And then I was reading this article on Bloomberg about Canopy Growth, of course, huge Canadian cannabis company.
Yes.
But there was some questions about compliance from the Canada Health Authorities. I mean, explain that situation, how your technology may be able to prevent those situations from happening.
Well, look, I think that's an ongoing issue, but I think it's the one thing, you know, that it was reported in Bloomberg, so we can all safely say that there's some accuracy of the information. Look, if you've attested to everything that you've done and the lab results and you say what it is and you put it on the blockchain and consumers can see that, it's very hard for somebody to lodge a complaint. So really what I'm saying for companies, growers, if you want transparency and trust, it's a very simple step just to using our system. Those problems don't arise. You know, I don't want to be so bold to say like that's the whole reason. We started about efficacy, but at efficacy, the way you get there is through consistency. Consistency and transparency and consistency creates the trust. So if the consumer's happy and you can see it, you can see the development of the product from cultivation to retail all the way through, Jane, no problems. These issues don't arise with people that we believe that people that use our software.
Yeah, and it seems like that is where we're headed. And consumers want more information about the sourcing of products, the health of products, all of that. So that's something you address.
I think so, and I think if it's a challenge that one of the largest cannabis companies in the world can run into, and we see that, and we can see how we would, you know, we prevent those issues. I can't see why every medical cannabis and CBD producer in the world isn't knocking on our doors right now.
Okay.
Start knocking, I'm here.
You're ready to answer. So thank you, Brad, so much for joining us. Appreciate the update, and I'm sure we'll have more as the year goes on.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.